In your time.
Okay. Dear Sharon, I decided to write to you as if I know you, as a woman, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a mother, and grandmother. I am all of the above. I also used to be a wife, but the financial crisis took its toll on my marriage. My life should be blissfully happy as all these beautiful people are healthy, but in reality my life is like one long Groundhog Day. I lived through the recession in the 80s and nearly lost our first home, but it didn't come to that. Worked hard all my life, as did my husband, sent our children to good schools and to college, moved up the property ladder, gained equity, etc., etc. We had our own business in the 90s. In 2004 the business got into difficulty, but our house was growing in equity all the time, the property bubble. We borrowed on the equity of same to try and bolster the business and help one son get a house, but in 2005 the company went into liquidation. We had an overdraft for the business and we had signed a personal guarantee. The bank was ringing me 4 times a week to pay this. My husband did manage to get a PAYE job in October of the same year, but we were at our wits' end, so we borrowed the 70,000 we owed the bank on the strength of the equity again. My husband had had a heart attack in 2003, and thank God he survived, but everything that was going on was adding to the strain in our lives. I was the one left taking all the phone calls and doing the finances, which I didn't mind as I was good at, or as I thought. The bank gave us the loan, but reduced the term of the mortgage to 13 years because of health insurance on my husband, having first agreed an 18-year period. This put the repayments to over €3,000 a month. I knew this was going to destroy us. I told the bank we couldn't afford it, but they said we could. My back was against the wall. I felt I had no choice and we would have to sell our home. My husband lost the plot and he went downhill from then on. The job became unbearable for him and he left it in June of 2006. He became totally withdrawn and we lived in silence for almost 2 years. It was awful. He was entitled to nothing from the state. I was working and trying to pay €500 to the mortgage. As you can imagine, the arrears were building up rapidly. Eventually, in 2007, I convinced him to put the house up for sale. We didn't get one offer. The bubble was bursting. Long story short, in May 2009 we split up after 33 years and he left the country. I didn't know how I was going to carry on. Financially, emotionally, every other which way, I didn't know how to live in the world I was now faced with. I contemplated suicide on more than one occasion, and as a mother that's a hard thing to admit, as it would have had a huge impact on my children and on my elderly parents. They too were victims of the financial crash, as they had been living with me in the big new house. We'd built on a granny flat for them, and they had contributed to same and sold their own home. I didn't go through with the thoughts of ending it all, but I didn't know how to move on. I rented out the house for a while and tried to pay as much as I could. I started learning about the creation of money and loans and fractional reserve banking. I started learning about the law and the legal system. I stopped paying completely in 2010, as no matter what I was giving, it was never going to be enough. I realised also the bank was going to try and repossess my home. It was purely an asset grab. They needed to balance their books at my expense. I decided this was not going to happen. For 4 years I have been studying and researching. I am now a lay litigant and in the court system as a defendant for my home, and I'm doing well. I'm asking questions that the bank don't want to answer. I'm asking for the deponents to be brought for cross-examination, which they do not want to do either. The banks are all insolvent and have been for quite some time now. They broke all their own liquidity laws and are guilty of reckless trading. I know they securitised all the loans and made huge profits on same. I know they then acted as agents to collect the payments and got a fee for this. I know that the IFSC in Dublin was the Wild West of banking. I know the Department of Finance was warned of the property bubble in 2004 and ignored same on 2 different occasions. I've been lucky to have been introduced to amazing people who are helping me with the court case. This has become a crusade and I'm not giving up. So as you can see, Groundhog Day was not a joke, as every day is the same, up against a wall of silence and threats, all because of money. Something is radically wrong with this world, and I intend to change it, as I'm not willing to let another generation be destroyed by bankers who are only interested in profit. I actually have palpitations in my heart now, Sharon, so I will stop. Thank you for reading this.
Jeez.